documentation of the drop that really created havoc in the western part of the state. What's the name of it already? The food farm. I forgot the exact name of it. Anyway, the American government is going to commission a group of photographers to go and document what's going on in the drought-affected area in the west of America, to bring back images of it to the eastern part of America, where everybody is still living perfectly fine. And Dorothée Lange in particular is going to bring back powerful images that are really giving a very strong feeling of how desperate the situation could be for those people affected by the drought in California and other parts of America. Meanwhile, now pendulum, you see, it's a constant back and forth between those two sides of what the medium can be. Let's go back now to what can be interpretation. And with this, we have to move to another purposeful use of the blur by one of the very first form of artistic form of photography in the 20th century by the Bragaglia brothers in Italy as part of the Futurist movement. The Futurist movement is a movement which is aiming at claiming loud and strong that the world has entered the modern era. Everything is about industry, everything is about speed, everything is about mechanism. And the Bragaglia brothers, to transcribe that idea of speed with photography, are going to be the first to purposely use the motion blur to create an artistic image. Other people using light to create image, but with a much more abstract purpose. Again, Alvin Langdon Coburn, they are creating abstract images by using just simply light and shade. And of course, Man Ray, who's going to rediscover the very, very early form of photography. That was the photogram, because that's what, I didn't mention that, but this was actually the very first form of photography. A piece of photographic paper with something on it, exposed to light and developed. And Man Ray is going to rediscover that form of photography and turn it into a form of painterly technique, abstraction technique. His name is, of course, very much associated to the Surrealist movement, and he's going to create those images, and the Surrealists are going to use that medium, which is a perfect mirror image of the world, to create dream-like image. The Surrealists are going to love using photography because it precisely does what they want to do. They want to blur the boundary between reality and fiction. And this is what photography is actually doing since a very old voice. Here's a photograph which is like very stark, simple, everyday life, yet at the same time it exudes a completely surreal feel. Meanwhile, another form of artistic use of photography is going to be the manipulation of the photographic image. We saw the pure, straightforward photographic eye. We saw the artistic photography that creates the scene. Now, what about the photography as an object? Let's not talk about the image which is on the paper. Just let's take it as an object that can be touched, that can be cut, torn, manipulated to create other images with it. This is going to be something particularly developed by the Dada, one of the most radical movements. Basically, to some extent, we could say that there hasn't really been anything new in the art world ever since the Dada which were active around the 1910s to 1920s. The Dadas are going to use the collage very extensively, and this is something that's going to be developed by Laszlo Moholy-Nagy as a form of graphic practice. It's photography slowly developing into a graphic art form. A photograph is also something that can be placed within a larger, bigger page. So collage, images within another page. Some more surrealist collage by Japanese artists. So we are slowly coming to that first part of the development of fine art photography. By the time 1935, you see what's happening. You see that sign here and that strike of the hand. Something is brewing. There is all that agitation going on around the world. There is all that creativity going on, because at the same time, on a political level, something not quite right is building up. Before moving to that era, it became clear that photography definitely had evolved a voice of its own. It had become a way of looking at the world that owed nothing to painting, that could speak with its own voice, that had become truly, definitely, a fine art form. This was what most of the people in the general, the practitioners, the artist practitioners, knew and were very aware of. However, in the general public, the question still remains very much the same. Is photography art? Well, now we're going to have a break to let the Second World War unfold, and we'll resume after the Second World War.